Hey everybody, it's your pal George Racy. I'm back with more comics for my spinner rack. This time I'm going to do Avengers 207. Whew, rough time in the Avengers history here. George Perez did a year on the book, and the first issue he did was inked by Joe Rubinstein. It looked really good. And then after that, he got a lot of shitty, unsympathetic manner of inkers, and it just, I don't know, the last few books he did for Marvel really had poor inkers on them, and he was going to go over to DC anyway, and it probably made his decision easier, because a good inker can either sustain or improve the art, but a bad one could really sink the best. So anyway, an issue 200 was a horrible issue, because that was the one where Ms. Marvel basically gave birth to her, to Immortus, who he ended up taking to Limbo as lovers, which is just sick and disturbed. There were four writers on that book, and I remember how horrible, not really horrible, everything was so sweet and cozy at the end, like it was normal, and it turned out Chris Claremont fired back with his response in Avengers Annual 11, which is like a legendary annual, and every comic book artist I know has that, because Michael Golden is doing astonishing stuff in it. So after that, you had like a year in the wilderness with Alan Kupperberg doing an issue, Don Newton doing an issue, and you had Gene Colan doing quite a bit too, but he wasn't the right fit for the Avengers at this time. When he did the Avengers in the 60s, he had more of a grounded style when it came to figures, but at this point, he has a more like a deliberate exaggeration and like expressionism, sort of just like suggested, but not like, these aren't meant to be literal. What is it? 7 heads high for a guy or something like that, or 8. But oh boy. Well, anyway, these issues for the most part were really awful, and Gene's trying to do the best he can. Bob Budiansky, who penciled the last year of Ghost Rider, the Johnny Blaze one, fantastic, and Danny Fingeroth, who was an editor, reprint editor at the time, and he and Bob Budiansky did the script and story, and it's deadly dull. So Gene Cole and Dan Green and Ben Shawn, known of Rom, who I've always liked. He also did, I think, the Hulk with both Mantlo and Sal Buscema as well. So, this is going on. Okay, we'll buy into this kind of whatever's going on. It's too long to go into, but this issue actually starts with Simon Williams in Europe filming like a spaghetti western, and he could take a cannonball to the gut because he's Wonder Man. I love that panel there in the middle. He's just flopping down. So, he got the shot, and there's this woman who's trying to advance her career. She's kind of tag along with Simon, even though he's just a stunt man. He's also a celebrity as an Avenger, and you see the Beast in his Hawaiian shirt. It's fun stuff going on. A little slice of life stuff that Colin does is just really, really fantastic. Even something as mundane as lifting a couch that has so much charm to it. Anyway, there's Jocasta, and Jocasta was such an odd character. Like, she came along, and she was pretty cool. She was to be Ultron's bride, but then when Ultron was defeated, she sort of became her own person. She was gradually trying to find her own, who is she? She didn't know what kind of person she was inside. She was self-aware. She was a self-aware robot. And the only thing that was a hang-up was she would complain about being alone, but then she would go alone and complain about being alone instead of hanging out. So it was kind of weird. And then she left on her own. Long story. So, okay, here's the backstory here. Nice establishing shots. There you go. And there's a bunch of wind whipping. And I like these two pages a lot with the geyser. really neat stuff. And here comes Wonder Man. I love this page. I'd love to own it, but no, it's a trap. That's pretty cool. And this actually was in the Wonder Man omnibus that I showed on my other channel called Drew's Racing Comics. And this actually was in it for 2 issues because of Wonder Man's prominence in the story. But good lord, it is dull. Okay, like you get through this page and it's okay, you know. And then you get all this. It's like I'm not. It is so. The thing is, it wasn't even really said. Like you could tell stories like this in a way that really lures you in with like real distinct terminology and things that just like touchstones in commentary where you can actually really get drug into it. But this is just a cold recitation that you would get from a stenographer at a trial. Just painfully dull. So finally, a little action. It's kind of wonky, but whatever. But like I said, Gene's probably not enjoying this story. He's like me. He's like, I gotta do something with this stuff. You know, he's more of a he exceeds most with Earthbound characters, and that middle panel there up there with Iron Man's face. That's one of those little like brain tickles. I'm like, ooh, that's like a Tales of Suspense kind of panel. And I love that little one there. He's like, boop. And meanwhile, the Beast got stuck up in the by the crow's nest. And exciting. And then, oh, vey, it's like, I will explain the powers left me too great for any blah 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 blah. Now you gotta slow that down to like ... every few words. It's such a chore. Oh, and then the next issue sucked worse. And I'm sorry. I mean, you know, Gene's hanging in there. He's trying to do his best with Dan Green, and it's like, but the story just, these guys have done better work elsewhere. Let me put it that way. So, and it was only a few more months when Jim Shooter would come along and destroy Hank Pym's life. So, the Ray, Phil Sienkiewicz cover. I really like how that worked out. Jack C. Harris, longtime DC editor and writer, and some new kid on the block, Joe Quesada. This is 1992. And it's by Art Nichols, who is damn good. And it's just got some great looks. I could see some here and there some Mike Mignola influences, and this is the first appearance of the Ray in the next generation. Turns out he's the son of the Golden Age superhero called the Ray, who's in Quality Comics, and he fought alongside the Human Bomb and Uncle Sam, and then they got absorbed by DC as Planet something or other, and then Crisis on Infinite Earths just smushed everything together. What happened is, for most of his life, Ray Terrell, he lived in darkness because his father did not want his powers to go off. And it's kind of weird to think the kid would always be, I don't know how this happens. I'm sure maybe it does happen. They say it's light sensitivity, but that wasn't really the case. He just didn't want the power, that solar kind of power that the Ray has. So I'm assuming they give him like vitamin D, medicine and other stuff to accommodate, because I like this too, though, just black and white with touches of like a rust-colored red. And I'm sure the colorist is like, yeah, baby, this is great. I can get 5 pages done. So he reads all stuff about the Ray. He has no idea that that's his father. He just happens upon that. And now we go to a cool blue, which I really like. So, it turns out his cousin, a cousin he hasn't seen in a long time, because Ray doesn't do a lot of family reunions because he has to be in the dark. And this guy talks Ray into, come on out. What's he say? Why sit alone in your lonely room? What is this? Come to the cabaret. Cabaret? Well, I don't like your out of this one. Yeah, I can't sing. Now, I would never lay down where people probably took a piss in a phone booth. But, it's a fun visual. So, and you might be saying, oh, it's a crazy jacket, but this came out in 1992. And you ever see that show Parker Lewis Can't Lose, which was on one of it was like I don't know, it was on one of the smaller networks, and it's a great show. It was sort of like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but he wore clothes like that too, real loud stuff. So, well, our Junior Ray, so Bignol there, but it's its own thing. It's got a lot of jazz to it. I don't know what Ka-Zar's first work was, but I don't think I've ever seen anything bad from him in his early days. He just kind of came out, oh no, I burned my pants, gotta get out of here. Surprised that doesn't happen more often. I am surprised. Okay. No. I am who you must become. I'm called the Ray, and you alone may save my life. So the 6-issue series sold really well. So there was a ongoing series that lasted 28 issues, written by Christopher Priest, drawn by Howard Porter, and eventually drawn by Jason Armstrong and inked by yours truly for like 6 months. It was a good time. So hold on a sec. Listen. Can you hear that? That's one of the dogs munching away at his food. I like watching puppies drink and eat. It makes me happy. It's one of the simple things in life. So, Cobalt Blue. Okay, are you paying attention to Andy Smith? I was supposed to review this on a previous episode, but I got so caught up in reviewing the other 4 books that I failed to do my 5th one, so shame on me. This came out in 1977. It's got a pulp paper cover, a little stiffer than the rest, I think. Yeah, it's a little stiffer. Give me a second. Okay, I had to clear my throat there. So Mike Gustovich, to my knowledge, this is first stuff. Power Comics, not to be confused with Powered Record Comics, which were the comics you'd play 45 to, and it would tell you this. It would go along with the storybook you got with the Hulk, or Superman, or Planet of the Apes. And I love this painting. It's kind of neat. And I don't know who did it, but anyway. Kevin Hyde is the creator. Mike Gustovich is the artist. And for Early Alley, it's pretty neat. I mean, you see a lot of like future mainstays in comics start off pretty much this way. I mean, this is sort of like a George Perez. His early stuff was like this. And, the lack of backgrounds and that's just something that comes with time. But if the story's clear, I mean, that's half the battle. So I love that, photo stat of the city. Totally legit. I got no problem with that. Now people do it with computers. They kick some buttons, send you the city. So I'm called Overkill Alien. And it's only 10 issues long, 10 pages. Kind of a drag. But there's a lot of ads in here, which suggests that this got published through the money made from placing ads. And that's very smart. Very smart. Portfolios. So then there's the mask, not to be confused with the mask from the Jim Carrey movies, or there's other masks. I kind of, this is early art. It's got this charm to it. I like the way that the black is spotted on here. Some of the, it's just a little everywhere, but it's different. It's not that bad. It's very cartoony. It's very goony, but in a good way. And it's potential. It's not great. But, here's the back cover by some guy named Sullivan. Don't know who. 1997. That's kind of fun. Really fun. Good stuff. Here is the final issue of Ka-Zar. He lasted 34 issues. Well, it started off as a regular newsstand book, and then somewhere along the line, it became a direct sales comic store book only. There were 3 titles that did very well in the direct market, better than the newsstand. It was Ka-Zar, Micronauts, and Moon Knight, and they were exclusive at stores. And a great thing about it was that there were no ads. There was the letters pages and maybe an editorial in the back, but you had, wraparound covers. You had You had so much extra bonus material in there on Micronauts and on Moon Knight. Bill Sienkiewicz who just sketched some crazy shit that was cool. But then around issue, I think Moon Knight, yeah, it got canceled with issue 38. And then it started over as Fist of Khonshu, but only lasted 6 issues. It was on a newsstand again. Micronauts got canceled with issue 59 deliberately. You know, Bill Mantlo and Butch Geist moved on to Sword of the Swashbucklers, a graphic novel and miniseries for Epic Collection. And Micronauts Volume 2, The New Adventures, or whatever, New Voyages, beautiful art by Kelly Jones, who had a bit of Michael Golden, a little bit of Bernie Wrightson, you know, bubbling in his style. And it was written by Peter Gillis, and it was kind of dull. Nothing really happened. I love Peter Gillis when he does what ifs because it's open ended and he could get as extreme as he wants to. And I'm not saying everything has to be extreme, but I bought a couple issues and I came back a couple issues later and nothing was happening. I was just like, ah, jeez. But Ka-Zar didn't get that revival. You know, it ended when it ended. By Carlin and Paul Neary and Carlos Garzon they wrap everything up. I like Carlos inks a lot on this because he kind of adds a little more meat, I guess, in the inks. So it's like this. You know, I like very Flash Gordon looking guy. The story's fun. I'm kind of skimming over it because the best is yet to come. Well, after all the hullabaloo, I promise you, Shauna, our family will be a happy one, and I won't allow us to ever be separated. You from me, or our child from us both. This I swear to you. Together, our family will lead a full, happy life here in the Savage Land. Yes, Zabu, he means you too. Click. I know. Turn the friggin' page. Well, Savage in a Stranger Land. So this kid finishes the comic, and all of a sudden, the character becomes self-aware. Oh no, not again. I hate when this happens. And it's happened to me twice before already. I should be at my destination any minute. I better make the most of it. As usual, perfect landing. If I'm not mistaken, I should run into the first... Yep, the first member of my welcoming committee. Don't you guys ever get tired of doing this to me? Sorry about that, buddy, but I'm just playing by the rules. Here in the land of... Whoa, I completely forgot about this thing. Come on. Swings past. Now they're ganging up on me. And he finds a hidey hole. And he's home free. Sanctuary, that building. Devil Dinosaur charges at him. Does a chandelier bit. But he's no match for Ka-Zar, Lord of. The land of the canceled heroes. Hooray! This is Mike Carlin's crazy humor at work. I love it. There's It, the Living Colossus, Brother Voodoo, Dr. Druid, Dracula, Black Goliath, Shang-Chi, Simon Garth. I think that's US1. Maybe I'm wrong. What is that? Man-Wolf? Yeah, it's Man-Wolf and Killraven, Spider-Woman, Silver Surfer, Nova, and Ms. Marvel, and Deathlock. And foreground, you got the Man-Thing, Ghost Rider, Knight Rider, Morbius. And it's just so funny they're welcoming him back, you know. And he says, he gives a speech. All of us here have the dubious honor of being slightly ahead of our times. And the chance visionaries like us have to take it as being canceled. But we are all heroes here, and we do fight back. And here in the land of canceled heroes, we must strive for ultimate goals to come back. I swear to you, all here this day, that Savage, the Ka-Zar the Savage will be back. I will be back. Mike Carlin, great guy. Great editor, funny as hell. He did a lot of like pagers in Crazy magazine, where he pretended to be like a middle school kid doodling in his notebook, and it's hilarious shit. I'd love to see it collected. Well, here you go, Iron Man, the second great era of David Michelinie and Bob Layton. When they first left, I was crestfallen, And the 2 years with Denny O'Neil were pretty good. I liked Rhodey as Iron Man for a while. And even though Tony was out because he fell back into his old habit of drinking, I really hated what they did to him. And they put him on the street in the snow. It just was very, I don't know. I just thought it went a little too far. But with issue 215, here comes the Team Supreme. Making a new armor that he hadn't made in the first. He kept constantly, Bob Layton was thinking of armors. He actually designed this Silver Centurion armor. I didn't know this till way later, because this showed up in issue 200, and Layton did occasional covers, and it was torment. I'm like, I wanted to do the interiors, and then finally, with issue 215 is when they came on board, and for the first time ever, Iron Man's, after 20 years, his color scheme changed. He was red and gold forever. He was the Gold Avenger. Then he became the Silver Avenger for years. And I totally dug that, man. I love it. I just love that design. I would not like to draw it. I don't know if I could. It's very elaborate. And so he finds out something has to be done. Undone. See. There he is on the SS Bethany, a little nod to Bethany Cave, his old sweetheart. And he gets into his underwater suit. I love it. He like climbs into it. He climbs into it, and it just gives you an impression that it's going to withstand a lot of pressure. And he goes, Iron Man over there, and a little bubble over it. And it's just a beautiful design. Beautiful design. There's Bob on the pencils and the inks, but during most of this, Mark Bright does the art pencils. And there's really cool stuff going on. A lot of great stuff going on. If the colors seem garish, I mentioned this before, this is when Marvel stopped using metal plates. The printer stopped using metal plates, and he used plastic plates, and that made the colors more garish for a while. And at first, it was a mixed bag. Part of it is like, wow, it's really colorful. And then it's like, wow, that person's skin tone is glowing. It's kind of weird. But, I love that. Look at that back view. And you know what? I wish I made a bust of this. I bought a toy that came out like from the cartoon of the 90s. And it was such a cheap-ass toy of this version. I'd love to see like a bust of this. The same with the stealth armor. The stealth armor, all they do is they do a repaint on the regular armor. Through the Wanderer. Lasted 10 long years at Marvel Comics. And that's it. But lovely. I have this. I mean, I have the collection, but I bought the individual issue today at Dave's Comics in Fayetteville. So... Cobalt Blue, Andy. Cobalt Blue. Okay, you happy? There. And whoa. Avengers were swirling the drain at the time. But not for lack of trying. At least we got Gene Cole. So, hey. Let me know what you think. Iron Man. Ka-Zar. Did it piss you off when they canceled it? Indie books. And the Ray. And the Avengers. So, hey, please leave lots of comments at the bottom, and I would like you to please check to see if you're still subscribed and the bell is still on for notifications. Because there's this one channel I love called Rock and Roll True Stories, and the guy gets like more than 10 times the amount of viewers that I get. And he says some people are not getting notifications. They've been contacting him. So periodically I have to say that I hate doing that. But, if that guy's losing, notifications for subscribers, then I'm sure that may happen to me as well. But that's it. Anyway, you have a great day. And this is my 5th take, and I think I got it right this time. So, anyway. This Sunday, I will be at the Marriott, the Hilton Marriott off of 85 in Atlanta, Georgia, for a one-day show on the 2nd. It's called the Atlanta Comic Book Convention, and it's a lot of fun. My first and only show of the year. I didn't do any all year, but this is towards the end. Well, maybe next year I'll do more. But that's it. I hope you get there if you're around the area, and we'll have fun. Talk to you later.